Okay, yeah. Yeah, could you nominate someone, please?
Right, I'm not sure. Benjamin, have you been, or have you had your?
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin Basenzi. I'm the coordinator of Descendants. So we are a supplementary school and charity based in Acton, in Ealing and Acton. And what we do, we aim to empower young children of African and Caribbean descent through cultural and historical workshops and traditions. That includes, so we offer a lot of workshops, creative and educational workshops to empower them through their culture and through their heritage. Oh, one thing I missed about lockdown, probably, being able to do meetings on my sofa, my snacks, just comfy. I won't be able to do that anymore. And one person to nominate, Amina.
Amina, do you want to go?
Sorry, hello.
Okay.
I'm not good at technology. So my name is Amina Osman. I'm from Community Education Forum. We've been existing since 1999. Our main work is do a tuition and maybe football club and parent meetings. We've been doing this work for a long time, and during lockdown it's been hard. We have not been meeting. The school where we've been meeting has been closed. It's just opened back, but we're not back there yet. We try to communicate via the internet and Zoom meetings as well. So that is who we are, and thank you.
Thank you, Amina. And can you nominate someone, please?
Who is? Let me see the list. Hope Online, have they done it? Kamal?
Oh, this me, yeah. Me, Ahmad,
yeah. Okay, Mohammed?
Hope hasn't gone, so yeah. Hope, please can you?
Okay, Hope, okay.
Yeah, Hope. Hope, this me, Amal. Hello, yeah, Amina, yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm Amal from Sudanese Association. And lockdown at the beginning, it was very difficult for us. And just we focus in the family and the people around us. And we decide to...
Hope, or?
Yeah, you hearing me? I seen a loss.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, yeah, I'm Amal from Sudanese Association. Yeah, what I say about the lockdown at the beginning, it was very difficult for us. And we tried just, it was worrying, and we tried to focus in the family and the people around us. And we decided to run the supplementary school. Yeah, the social and people, they meet each other. And it was also very difficult, but at the end we succeed. It was very successful for us to meet each other through the Zoom. Yeah, we didn't stop the supplementary school, and that was one of the achievements. Yeah, we didn't see this lockdown.
Okay, thank you. Please, can you nominate someone?
I don't see the list. Yeah.
Okay, I will nominate on your behalf. It's fine. Mohammed.
Hi, my name is Mohammed. I'm part of CEF, so I'm quite new to charity and commission. So I used to go to tuition and supplementary school for CEF, so it's a little bit of change for me. Happy for you guys to have me.
And one thing you miss about lockdown?
I'm a stay-home body, so to be honest, I'm gonna miss lockdown quite a lot.
Great, thank you. And can you nominate someone?
And I would nominate I'd say Rogers Orero.
I think Rogers might be having issues with his sound at the moment. So we can go to Shukri.
No problem.
Hello, good morning. I'm just trying to get my camera on so that I will be.
Okay, let's come back to Shukri. I think there's been issues with her connection. Can we go to, oh, Shukri, you're back.
I got lost, yeah, sorry. Hello, thank you. My name is Shukri. I'm from the Asbaya Academy and Tuition. We are a supplementary school, and we operate the heart of West Ealing. We deliver English, science, and maths, and we cater for homeschooling. And also our academy supports the main purpose that our organization was set up is to help and support young children who are at risk of falling their educational attainment. And the area of catchment we work is around Ealing, and it is surrounded barrows. At the moment, most of services were transferred since the COVID online, and we are operating online platforms. Now we are recruiting the returning students and the new students at the center, but we have reduced the number of learners who we will be catering for. So still we are observing the social distance rules. So instead of the class were 8 or 7, now we reduced to 6 or 4 classes.
Thank you so much. And could you nominate someone else? And just because of time, if we could just introduce our organizations moving forward, that would be great. Thanks. Also, could you nominate someone else, Shukri?
Who can I see? Becky Brook. Maybe I may be wrongly pronouncing the name.
I think Becky's already gone, but I think we've got Benjamin who hasn't gone yet. Oh no, Benjamin has gone, sorry. I think, is it Jasmine?
What about Kamal?
Kamal's gone, yeah. Jasmine, have you gone? Okay, so anyone left to introduce themselves?
Hi, sorry, yeah, I'm Jasmine. I haven't gone yet.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm also from CF as well. I was also a beneficiary of the supplementary school a long time ago now. I then returned as an English tutor, so I teach English at the supplementary school and also do fundraising as well.
Thank you, Jasmine. So we're just going to move on to the next section, which is Becky, and she's going to let you guys know about the consortium that we have at the Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation. How
Yeah,
you guys
can I introduce myself?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, please go.
Yeah, my name is Abdullah Abdul Kadir. I'm come from Minaret Community Center, which do as well supplementary school and community activities and advice, guidance, women activity, and women well-being, and other activities. And we base in Fulham and Hammersmith area. And for lockdown, I think most of them, most of issue they touched the previous speakers. And what I like much is hugging the people and contact physical and the activity we do and with the children, which is an adoption for new technology was a difficulty for most of. There is a lot of issue using for Zoom teaching with the children. That's and that will be a longer road. I think this adoption and doing this technology will be in next stage, I think. But we have a difficulty in this at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for sharing as well. I really appreciate it. Okay, if there's no one else left to go, we'll move on to Becky Brookman.
That's great. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everybody. Lovely to meet you all. Some people I've met before and some new faces too. Can everyone see my screen there with the blue slides? Hopefully. Yeah, I can see some nodding. I'll proceed. So yeah, I am working, I used to work more with the supplementary schools and grants, as I've said, which was really enjoyable. But something that Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation have been working on for a while is this idea of a consortium for partnership-based funding, because we know that funding is a big priority for a lot of the youth organisations and supplementary schools we work with. I'm sure it's something on all of your minds, and we know particularly sustainable long-term funding is something that's important. So our kind of solution, or one solution to that, we believe, is taking a consortium approach, which essentially means grouping together as a bigger kind of partnership of organisations to bid for funding, and I'm going to talk through what that actually means and what our approach is for it, and some of the ways in which I think supplementary schools specifically can benefit from this. So SYNC, this is our new branding, our lovely logo. It's a specialist voluntary sector youth consortium for Hammersmith and Fulham. So why are we doing this? So Young H&F believe that our local organisations, youth organisations based in the area, know the communities better than anyone. You know, you're sort of embedded in the community. Some of you have been around working in the local communities with your young people and their families for a really long time, and you'll be keenly aware of the kind of issues they face, the challenges, you know, what it's like to grow up where these young people grow up, and you know, consequently, your supplementary schools are where children are learning new skills. They're growing their knowledge, their passions, developing, making new friends. So we think that local organisations are well placed to be working in a consortium and delivering projects, rather than bigger organisations coming in from outside the borough, taking up funding and delivering projects for young people. Ooh, dropping my notepad. We think that local organisations are really well placed to do this. So working with SYNC will give funders and commissioners, so obviously people at the council who commission services, and funders from trusts and foundations, they will have access to the whole of the consortium's experience and expertise. So that's the benefit for them. They can directly come to the consortium and commission services. But for local organisations such as supplementary schools, there's many benefits to this as well, which I'll go into. But the main thing to know is that our approach is from the bottom up, so from grassroots, working together, developing solutions and partnerships for better working for young people, and developing what we call the local supply chain for services, so that we can keep wealth in the borough and and provide bespoke service design as well. So a quick question for you all: what strengths do you think supplementary schools or youth organisations in Hammersmith and Fulham have? Or we could even say West London, because I know there's a few people. Anyone, feel free to shout out. What strengths do you think the local organisations have? I know it's a bit tricky to ask people to shout out.
Can I say, yeah, I'm Amalia from Sudanese Association, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, the supplementary school, yeah, it help, you know, the people who, the young people in their study, yeah, there is missing, yeah, something, yeah, they find it in the supplementary school, yeah, because it's just, you know, they study in a normal situation and community, issue, they find it in the supplementary school, and they achieve, from my experience, most of the children who involved in the supplementary school or attend the supplementary school, they achieve, we have many examples of that, So it's
Yeah.
very important, yeah. The supplementary school is very important, yeah. One of the things, yeah, to help the youth so as to achieve, yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, supplementary schools are a great way to help young people achieve, even if they're obviously attending mainstream schools. It's a really great kind of local solution to supporting the young people's development, achievement and learning that's embedded in their local area. So that's a really good strength. I'm sure you can think of lots of other kind of strengths that the youth sector have. And the biggest ones for me, I think, are about just the broad sort of range of organisations there are locally. Obviously, even just on this call, we've got a really broad range of supplementary schools providing education to different young people in different communities. But even wider than that, we've got brilliant youth clubs doing things around mental health, sports, fitness, arts-based creative things, really targeted services for young people with different needs. So there's a really rich sort of tapestry, if you like, of local provisions for young people, and many of those are part of this consortium already, and we'd love to have some more supplementary schools on board. So a quick bit about our vision and mission. Got to have a vision. Our vision is about improving the quality of life of young Hammersmith and Fulham's children, young people and families, strengthening the local community by bringing together diversity and expertise of locally rooted youth providers. It's a bit of a mouthful, but basically how we're going to do that, our mission, winning significant resources to grow that work. So this isn't about sort of small grants for small amounts of money. This is about going for big multi-year funding that we think that strength in numbers can go for. Quick bit about Sync. I don't know who that photo's of, by the way. It's just someone said, "Is that you, Becky?" That's not me. It's just a random stock photo. But she looks happy, so why not? So a bit about Sync. We're an organisation which is legally constituted, so we're set up as a company limited by guarantee. So we're separate to the Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation. And this is because that helps us to bid for large amounts of money, and it helps to manage the financial risk of that, but also it creates that transparency away from our main charity and away from our main work. So for this reason, we do have a separate application process to the consortium, and I can go into detail on that later. We currently have 30 members, which means those are members who've signed up and said they want to join the consortium, they'd like to be involved in bids, and that's across 3 different membership levels. So very briefly, that's full membership. So that's likely to be bigger organisations who perhaps have quite a bit of experience holding grants and some financial reserves. Then we have associate members, so they will be members who have a bit less experience. Maybe they've not held big grants before, but they've got some experience, and they're sort of getting there. And then associate members, which is the smallest level of membership, but that means that perhaps newly formed organisations or organisations that don't have any reserves at all can still be involved in the consortium and can still be contracted to deliver services, to deliver work. Okay, and just that table there gives you a bit of, it's a bit sort of jargony and technical, but it gives you some of the benefits which local commissioners and funders will be thinking about. The biggest one for me is that we're non-profit, so we're not coming in, we're not trying to deliver services and make money off it. Obviously we cover our costs, but we are not looking to do that. It's really about creating a pool of organisations who are ready to deliver, and we do that by sort of pre-screening financial information and knowing as much as we can about organisations and their priorities before we go into bids. Our target over the next 3 years is to bring in £1.5 million of statutory and non-statutory funding through a variety of bids. That might be through trusts and foundations grants, that might be through bidding to the council to deliver services, or bidding to central government and other kind of contracts as well. And we think the network of providers that are already engaged, some of whom are supplementary schools, bring a lot of expertise, resources, some have physical spaces they can share, and generally really good, strong experience to implement that. So I'm not going to go through all of this in detail for time, but I'm really happy to share these slides afterwards. But just to give you a bit of a sell on why consortiums are a good idea and why SYNC is a good idea for charities. Basically, it gives hugely increased opportunities for collaborative working, and it will help your supplementary school to access funding that you wouldn't normally be able to access. So if you're a small supplementary school with maybe, I don't know, £1,000 in your reserves, or maybe a couple of £1,000 turnover, you could still join the consortium and benefit from being part of much bigger bids. So we could put in a larger bid with the consortium. We could bring together, say, 5 or 6 supplementary schools working in Hammersmith and Fulham and bid for, I don't know, £50,000 to deliver, and then we could share that between the schools involved. So it's a way to access that money that funders wouldn't normally give you that much funding if you only had a small amount of turnover anyway. And with the increased funding comes the opportunity to access multi-year funding, so it's creating more sustainability. As I've said before, there's the chance to benefit from a wider group of delivery partners. So there's 30 organisations currently involved, and by working together with them, we can think about sharing resources, expertise and spaces. I know venues can be a big issue for supplementary schools, so it's a great chance to link up with sharing them. Why not see if we could deliver supplementary schools using space in somewhere like, I don't know, the Lyric or one of the football clubs that are involved. So this enables us to broker those relationships in a formal way. And as I've said, it's developing the local market for commissioning, so keeping money in our borough. Just a few considerations. You would need to be willing to share financial information, which I know some of you do anyway if you get grants from Young H&F. So that will be looking just at your accounts, looking at if you have a policy around financial controls and financial measures, and things like your safeguarding policy, so all quite standard. It's not likely to be an immediate payoff, so obviously it takes a bit longer to work on bids and put them together, so it's not going to be like instant, but it's worth being involved. You need to get your trustees on board, or your management committee, or whoever your sort of governing group are. It's really important that they know that you're involved in this, because eventually, well, because you hopefully would be participating in bids and agreeing, to deliver supplementary school activities as part of bids, but also because obviously when there's any financial decisions to be made, you want your management board involved. And you've got to be willing to adhere to certain practice values, as we call them. But those are all things that I'm sure you would do anyway, keeping young people safe, working in the local borough, being willing to work together. There's quite a lot of research, which I will share further, which is just about the benefits of it, working in, sorry, baby in the background, about the benefits of working in with consortiums. The biggest one being, I think, for smaller organisations, are that it's an opportunity for them to be actively included. Smaller organisations can be included and are actively being included in bids with larger organisations. So it's a really good model for that kind of working. There's a lot of benefits also for young people, particularly around it helping to develop smaller organisations and contributing to a vibrant and diverse youth sector, of which we include supplementary schools in that. So it's opportunities for us to avoid duplicating services. So hopefully young people won't fall through the gaps. We can work together to make sure pathways are developed. So if you were working with young people and you felt that aside from their education, they could benefit from perhaps some therapeutic services, or maybe they needed to they wanted to increase their confidence, so perhaps they could join a drama workshop or something like that. There's lots of ways to work with other members to deliver these kind of outcomes too for young people. And I do believe it's a really strong way to better meet the needs of more marginalised groups, because it's allowing smaller and specialist targeted provisions to be developed and benefit from bigger pots of funding which sometimes they can be missed out from. I'm going to skip the bit about funders and commissioners, but I'll share this because you're perhaps not going to be as interested in that right now. And ignore that slide. And this is just a little bit about who's actually involved in this. So Young, Hammersmith and Fulham actually run the consortium as a kind of arm's length trading subsidiary. And as I've said before, the reasons for that. So we have our own separate board of directors who oversee the governance. And those directors are drawn from the membership. So it's governed by the people who are in the consortium. Which we would like to grow that. We've got 5 currently, we'd like to get up to 9, and we definitely need to bring some more smaller providers into that board of trustees. And then myself and the consortium administrator are actually currently the staff working on this, so developing bids, putting bids in, doing partnership working. And then obviously the SYNC members are the key part here. So we'll have some time for questions in a sec, but I do just want to share with you that we are reopening to applications. We did a round of applications about a year ago. We're going to be reopening very shortly. And I'd love to see applications from some more supplementary schools, because something I would be really passionate about doing is developing a bid with supplementary schools from Hammersmith and Fulham to get in a bigger amount of funding. And I think there's a really strong case at the moment for the benefit of supplementaries, for the benefits of supplementary schools to young people, particularly thinking about young people who've missed out on so much education, you know, being stuck at home all year. I think supplementary schools have obviously got such an important role to play in that, and I believe there's funding out there which we can attract for that. So to apply to join the consortium, all the details will be on the website at yhff.org.uk/. Can everyone see this green slide, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Before I realise I'm just talking and you can't see. So yhff.org.uk/sync. All the information is going to be on there. The application form will be on there. You probably want to put yourself maybe an hour to fill it in, because we are going to be asking for a bit, you know, some detailed financial information. So make sure you have that ready. Basically the checklist, make sure you're a member of Young H&F. Annie can help you with that if you're not already. It's quite an easy process. The application form is online. If you're sharing any additional documentation, which hopefully you should be, so I'd like to see your most recent audited accounts. It doesn't have to be the one from this year, just the most recent copy you have, if you have them, or a bank statement. If you've got any policies around, I imagine you'll all have a safeguarding policy, but you might have wider policies which are relevant to show how your organisation runs. And a recent bank statement would be really useful. And what you'll need to do is either email them directly to me or upload them via WeTransfer, which is, if you've not come across it, a website for sharing larger files, essentially. And so the process after that is really, our board will review the applications. And I should just say, we haven't turned anyone down yet. It's just really a process of going through and deciding what level the organisations should sit at, whether they should be a full member, whether they should be associate or affiliate. And that will depend, as I say, on your experience of holding grants, how much money do you have in reserves, and that kind of thing. So it's just about making sure you're in the best position to be involved in a bid. And I should say we do have supplementary schools as full members. In fact, we've got supplementary schools at each level of membership. So they're not all automatically going to be smaller just because they're smaller charities. I realise that was a lot of information. So hopefully it's given a bit of an overview. I'm happy to take any questions now or any comments.
Oh, sorry, Becky, just to interrupt. Yeah. Sorry about that. Just because of time, we've got other presentations. Is it okay if people direct questions to you, your email, and then you can pick them up? Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah, you can see my email there, becky@yhff.org.uk. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Becky.
That's okay, no worries.
Opportunity for everyone. So, okay, cool. So next we're going to go to NRSCE. They've got a presentation to present to you guys. Thank you.
Hi, can you all see this? Yeah, can you see my presentation? Okay, so my name is Susie Yassin and I'm the Quality Assurance Manager at NRSCE. Many of you would have know who NRSCE are, but we've been working with supplementary schools for many years now, since 2012, and we're really committed to supporting effective community-led supplementary education and giving young people the right to fulfill their education through, with the help of the community. And these logos you see are part of the quality assurance system that we have in place that I will mention later on. Before I start, as Remy kind of introduced herself before, she was the Quality Development Advisor looking at Hammersmith and Fulham and Ealing and supporting the settings there. And she started last year, but today's her last day. But I know she's been supporting many of you with quality assurance, providing updates and so on. So I just want to say thank you to Remy. We will miss her, but I'll give her a chance later on to speak to you all and to let you know what she'll be involved in next. So thanks, Remy, on behalf of everyone. So in a nutshell, I'll go through my presentation quite quickly because I think it's important that we get a discussion going. In a nutshell, what we do in the supplementary education sector is we have a subscription model. So many of you would probably be subscribers. If your subscription is not valid or you need to renew it, please renew it. We do send out lots of quality information. You get free training and also support through our network. So through the subscription, we support. We have content and free training. We run a quality assurance system, a quality mark for supplementary schools, and I'm going to invite Narinder from LearnHive, who's with us today, to talk about a very recent experience because he's got his quality mark on Monday. So congratulations to him, but also other settings that have worked so hard and are in the process as well, I think, here to, with us, like Shukri from Aspire. We work very closely with CVS, local authorities, funders, people like the Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation to look at how we can support the sector. And we do a lot of advocacy. Recently, we've set up a examination centre to support students who are unable to do community languages. We also run webinars and workshops for our subscribers, and we facilitate local forums like the one that you are in today. We're supporting around 10 forums at the moment in London, which is good, and that is growing, which means that local conversation is happening and you're able to get that local support. So this is just an example of a webinar series that we did at the end of December, and it was really to kind of highlight the work that supplementary schools were doing, and we had a really good turnout, about 120 people at each one. And this is the kind of thing that we'll continue to do to make sure that your voices are heard widely. We also recently, I'm not sure, put your hand up if you can, if you attended our Safe Reopening webinar. We did an 1.5-hour webinar where we went through all the guidance, the DFE guidance, all the protective measures. We then went to breakout rooms and looked at the COVID-19 risk assessment if you're looking to open. We already had 2 sessions. We had a session on the 10th of March and the 24th, but we'll probably do another one. If you don't want to miss out, they're free for subscribers. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you subscribe to us, and I'll provide my details later to help you with that. We've, like all of you, we've adapted as well. And it was really important for us to listen to the needs of supplementary schools. And immediately from last March, we realized that a lot of supplementary schools really needed support around how to teach remotely, how to adapt to remote working. And I think we're going to discuss that a little bit in the breakout rooms later. But since April last year, we had about 700 teachers have taken part in online training and courses. and around 30 supplementary schools taking part in kind of the quality assurance side of things. But these are some of the examples of the courses that we had face-to-face, so our face-to-face courses, but we adapted online and we deliver through Zoom and Google Classroom. So this is one of them, the teaching skills in supplementary schools. We also did a course around remote teaching and digital skills, and that was focused around giving you the opportunity to look at how you could adapt your learning. You might be thinking now, well, you know, lockdown is easing and, you know, how is this relevant? But we know with the kind of pandemic not being over and the benefits of actually having a kind of blended approach or an understanding of how to operate remotely. I think it's still, if you haven't been to these courses, please let me know and I'll make sure that you signed into the next ones. We also do other courses, of course, around supporting children with SEND in out school settings. And we also adapted our kind of management course. We used to do a 3-day course, and it was based on the good management of supplementary schools, and it talked about finances, governance, good teaching, creative teaching and learning, and we've adapted that online as well, and some of you may have attended recently as well. Like I said before, please head over to our website. We've got lots of information. We've even got tips on you know, what you need to consider if you are operating online safely, and by subscribing you get access to our subscribers only pages, and they have things like template policies and procedures, and lots of things that will help you and help you kind of get ready for reopening. We've also got some, I'll share this, these slides, these things with you. We also have pre-recorded webinars that we did around sharing good practice and online teaching, so you can have access to that. We did 2 of them with Joe Dale. As I mentioned earlier, you know, when the exams were cancelled, we realized that community languages and children that were studying all the community language like Polish and Arabic and Turkish and lots of languages where there are GCSEs and GCEs were not considered. So we stepped in and we worked very closely to make sure that the voices of the communities and the young people were heard. And as part of that, we actually set up our own community language examination centre to make sure that private candidates, those who are studying in supplementary schools, can enter and do their exams. Well, not do their exams, but get a grade by working very closely with us. So if you want any more information around that, the email is exams@nrcsce.org.uk, but you can also contact me as well. And this is the exciting stuff that's coming up, and I really hope that all of you will have a go and try it. But we did a soft launch a couple of weeks ago, and we're probably going to launch before the end of the month. We have not only have we developed our good management course online, but we really thought, actually, with the way things are at the moment, we want to have a program that you can do in your own pace. So we've put the good management course on e-learning modules that are self-led, that you can complete at your own pace. And it helps you prepare good policies and procedures. It's in line with the Department for Education's statutory guidance on keeping children safe. It's a first stage as well to help you look at quality assurance and being accredited for the work you do. And we're going to make that free for NRSCE subscribers. There's a promo video on the website if you want to know more about it, and I'll share the link, but we will be launching it hopefully by the end of the month. But that means that you and your staff members can log in and do these e-modules at your own pace, and get a little certificate at the end, which is really good. So we're really excited about that. This is new for us. You know, just to follow on as well from what Becky was saying, if you are looking to get funding, if you are looking to be part of a consortium, you know, having access to the courses that we're doing, and being able to go step by step and make sure that you have the right policies and procedures makes that process a lot easier, because then you are able to show to your funders, to your community, to young people, to the parents, that you are you have good governance and good management in place to to run a safe and effective provision. So really excited about that, and I hope that next time I join you for the next network meeting, some of you would have tried the courses and can give us some feedback. That's it really. I've rushed through it because I want to make sure that we have enough time to do the other bits today. But this is my email, susie@nrcsc.org.uk. I'll add it to the chat, but also we have our main email, nrc@nrcsc.org.uk. If you've got any questions, my other colleagues will pick it up. And of course, we're very active on Twitter and Instagram as well. Okay, so that's me.
Great, thank you so much, Susie. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put you guys into 2 breakout rooms. Susie or Remy, I wonder if you could actually post in the chat the different rooms. I'm not able to minimize my screen because I'm recording. But the first room is going to be about digital working. So what are the challenges that you guys have been experiencing working digitally, and what are the opportunities that you can take from that? And then the next room will be about transitioning out of lockdown. What have been the challenges and opportunities? And also, if we had Young Hammersmith and Fulham and Foundation had a pot of money to spend on supplementary schools, what would you guys think that we should do? So I'm going to now put you guys in the breakout rooms.
Annie, while you're doing that, Narinda and Shukri are here. They've if you could just give them 1 minute while you're doing that, just to talk about the experience, because I think it's really important for them to share what their experience was. If you can briefly, Narinda. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay, perfect. Right, so we're from LearnHive, and LearnHive is we're based in Ealing. We've been running programs since 2012, and last year we registered as a community interest company. We registered as a community interest company really to help us uplift some of our governance and policies and standards, and additionally to help us with some of our fundraising that we want to do. Being an unregistered supplementary school, not registered with the Charity Commission or anywhere else, we found it really difficult to actually get access to funding lines, and so we registered as a CIC to try and improve our sustainability model and to try and get sort of long-term funding for our programs. Our programs are based at Norwood Hall in Southall. We primarily cater for the residents of Ealing and Hounslow. We provide supplementary education for primary and secondary school age children. We also have youth clubs for young people between the ages of 10 to 16. We run a computer club and we run sort of national hackathons where young people can sort of engage and produce projects in a sort of in a 24-hour, 48-hour window. We're quite lucky at Norwood Hall. It's the site of an old horticultural college, so we've got access to the grounds as well. So we have a gardening club as well, where we teach young people horticultural skills and how to do planting and nutrition and health and a bunch of other stuff off the back of that as well. Since the start of the pandemic, and since we actually sort of registered as a community interest company, the pandemic hit us quite heavily. So we moved all our, we shelved all our sort of community programs, the youth clubs, the gardening projects and all the other things. The education programs moved online, and we carried on online until about October time last year, when things seemed to be getting better. So then we did restart some of our sort of mindfulness, well-being type activities and our in-person tuition classes as well. But pretty much as soon as we sort of started them, we had to shut them down again because there was an increase within Ealing of the number of cases, and national guidelines, government guidelines suggested that supplementary schools should close.
Narinda, sorry to disrupt you, just because of timing, can you just let us know what you think your experience was doing the quality assurance?
Right, so we became members of Young Ealing Foundation, and Young Ealing Foundation suggested that we we become members of the NRSCE, and part of that was to actually sort of go through the quality mark recognition scheme. We started late December and then carried on the process. We actually started in Nanga back in January. The process really is to actually sort of uplift and review all our policies and standards that we have in terms of safeguarding, in terms of teaching, in terms of financials, and really across the board, and it's quite thorough. It also involves some of the assessors actually sitting in on some of our sort of our lessons that we're doing online and assess the teaching and provide feedback on the back of those sort of things as well. So we found it quite a positive experience. We already had quite a decent stock of policies and standards already in place. And the challenge for us really was to try and map our existing policies to the existing templates that were available from the NRSCE. So there's like loads of templates you can actually just take off the shelf and sort of tailor those for your own needs as well. We also got some funding from Ealing Council for the recognition scheme as well. So they actually paid for some of the guidance that we got from the guys. Having the quality marks, so it not only uplifts our policies and processes, but it should also going forward help with some of our funding as well. And being part of the NRSCE means that, you know, we have access to sort of dissemination of information, particularly during COVID, in terms of, like, you know, what was allowed, what isn't allowed. It really just saved us having to sort of, you know, go to government websites and the NHS websites to try and work out what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. All that information was really just presented to us. On the downside, in terms of start applying for it, I guess downside, it is a reasonable piece of work. So it does take, you know, it took like 2 people from our side, sort of, you know, maybe like 2 days a week to actually over between sort of January and February, and to a lesser extent in March as well, to actually get all the documentation in place and to actually get all the things in place that we needed to do. We also had a problem with sort of duplication of policies as well. So we already had policies, and we had like sort of these new policies and new templates. So there was a bit of a sort of like mapping type exercise that we had to do as well. And if there wasn't any other sort of negativity, I think like continuity is obviously an issue with the guys who were like supporting us. Like we had like Remy supporting us, we had like Claude supporting us as well. And of course, like Remy's now moving on, and then Claude's moving on as well. So there's an issue around some of that, and we found that a little bit disruptive to the sort of the process that we're engaged in. And of course, now with Remy and Claude moving on, we'll have to establish new relationships at the
it's just me.
Yeah, we've got Susie.
Yeah, it's me. But yeah, thank you for that, Narinda. And it's really important to be, and I've taken that on board. It's really important to hear from you about the experience. We know the importance of the quality assurance and what that can bring to supplementary schools, but the real experience of your colleagues is good to hear. And hopefully we can work to address those issues. I think, yeah, we'll stop there. Thank you so much for taking the time to come today. I'll hand over back to Annie.
Thank you, everyone. If everyone's okay to stay just 10 minutes more, just because we started a bit late, if that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms, and then we're going to come and feedback, because I think it's really important for you guys to have the ability to meet each other, discuss what issues you're going through, and then let's see how we can work together as a network to solve this and to just discuss these issues. So I'm going to put you guys in the breakout rooms. So if you're with Susie and Remy, you're going to be talking about digital working. And if you're with me, you're going to be talking about transitioning out of lockdown. Hello?
Hello, yes, yeah, hi. Yeah.
Hi, everyone, how are you?
Hello. Sorry.
Great.
Did you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be discussing in this room is, the first question is, you know, what are your fears when transitioning out of lockdown, and how can we support this as a network? So what are your worries about transition going from lockdown with your service, and how do you think we could potentially support?
Annie, yeah, I can start. Yeah, I remember when. I remember when I phoned you. You remember at the beginning of the lockdown? Yeah, I was so worried. To be honest, in my life, I haven't seen something like this at all. Yeah, I told my children, don't know what to do, but it was worrying at the beginning. But, when you are educated, when you are, in network like this, you try to find a solution. And I try to start phoning. I think you are one of the people I found at the beginning. I said, let me phone, make connection with the people. Yeah, not, my people, the community, but, the people who I work with them. Yeah. And I found, I have your telephone. I found, what is, what I have to do. Sometimes you need someone to talk with. I talk with you, and after that I start, connected even, the National Resource Center, and I start, in connection with the, the networking, here and here and here, and we solve it, we start the supplementary school after that, we try to do it online, in spite, we are, the other people are not qualified and they don't have a training, but, we managed to do it, to be honest with you, and till now, we do it online, and we have some people that achieve, through this, online, they done the exam and, they achieve,
That's
so,
really good. And like,
it's very good, to be honest. That's why I say I'm not gonna stop it. It is difficult.
Okay, cool. So like now we're moving back out to out of lockdown. Is there any challenges that you think are that you have to come across at all?
Yes, to be honest, one of the things, training, people using the thing without training is not easy. If they are one or two, they know, this technology and everything. But, even the teacher, sometimes the teacher, we have it, we are lucky, they are working in other school and they've been trained. But it's not easy. Even the parent, they have to know this technology, because we run, the supplementary store online. And the parent attending, even if it's not in the scene, but they have to know. We have to, to tell the people do this and do this and do this. It's not easy, to be honest. The one of the scene, the training, training, the teacher, training, the volunteer, training, the management, even technology is not easy, and even health and the safety, to tell the people the safety about all that scene. Running this, online, we enter two of the volunteer or two of the management, they enter with the teacher. We don't leave, the teaching, just the teacher. They have to be 3 or 4 people, with the children and with the parent as well, the parent, they are there, and we are responsible people, they have to enter, with the teacher. We don't leave it to the teacher to teach, just we observe and we write everything, so it's not easy, to be honest. So the training is the most important, to train the people, to know this technology is not easy,
Okay, so I've got around training of people with technology, and I'm assuming that's you're probably going to move forward with using technology outside of lockdown as well. So I guess that training is needed.
Yes.
How about anyone else? Is there any other challenges that you feel like you are facing now that you're coming out of lockdown?
Yes, for the other, maybe the other thing, not just the online. We have an idea for these children or these young people. They they need fitness. They have to have fitness health and health and well-being, and fitness, I'm not sure. There are some organizations, they run, the sport and maybe, the gym, if there is membership or anything, so as to support this, people, so as to do the fitness, to be healthy and to be very fit. As young people, and they're growing and they're staying at home all that time, so even, their mind, fitness one of the things, in our mind,
Okay.
And also the parent, helpline and advice for them, because they are confused To be honest, you know, the people inside, sitting inside, they are confused. From my own, my personal experience, and from the experience of the people who work with them. I work with the, you know, family in my borough, yeah, from my community, they are confused, and they stress, you know, inside, you know, home is stress, and there's a lot of things. So these people, they need advice, so as you know, what to do, what to leave, where they have to go, and I mentioned fitness, fitness and well-being, and if there is, you know, we used to do in the past, you know, trip. You know, trip. There are some places which is free. You know, zoo, the museum, and you know the zoo, and there is a lot of trip which is free. Yes, free or a little bit money. The museum is free. Though I seen as a little bit contribution. We use, you know, to go, but if there is, you know, trip, for these young people, it will be very good and useful in the holiday, because the holiday is coming now, you know, July and June. Some people, you know, they are not able to travel abroad or to travel anywhere, so they need, you know, somewhere, you know, to spend this holiday. This all scene.
Okay, cool. So before I move on to the next question, does anyone else have anything they want to say about that? In terms of Rogers or Mohammed's or Abdullahi, sorry.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say about moving out of lockdown? If there's anything any concerns you have?
The concern is much, I think is the same for everyone. But what I can say is the community we work with is mostly they were overcrowded family, and they have less of resources. So one is changed to Zoom or to online courses. The problem was the two siblings or two children, they cannot have, each family might have only one computer, and so the difficulty was to have two in one person. And second was the family was mostly they was overcrowded and noise, and there is not there was not environment education time, because there was a background. Even if they give a small room or one party, there was a lot of noises around it, and there was a lack of resources in time of having computers for the families, and there was a lack of interactive. It's not the same when the face to face, and the distance learning was much difficulty, and adaptation for the policies and recruiting the families, because you intrude in their houses. So most families, they received it and they were perplexed, and although they need like to contribute their children, they were received. Now we was back in the center, and we hoping the service will be normalized. Although that I think the long way running the technology will be better valid, and that's what I can say.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. So now, if the Young Hammersmith and Fulham Foundation, which is, you know, me, if we had a pot of money to help support supplementary schools, what would you suggest that we use it for?
And enriched first of all the management teams, and as training quality, and how to run better services. And second, give resources. For example, the computers will be the root. So resources, and the children, they need in supplementary school is aligned with the education. They need fitness. Maybe the sport is party, and we this year we like to introduce the sporty for the young age 10 to 16. So that ages they need we lacking the resource for that as much, and material of teaching. For example, now before we teaching the use the book and papers, and I think we will move the computer as even the center, so the online calculation or English interaction will be part of the teaching, so that resources as well.
Okay, so anyone else, if we had a pot of money to support you guys as supplementary schools, what do you think that we should use it for? Hopes or Rogers or Mohammed?
Or can I confirm to the person who said, yeah, Roger, yeah, the computer, he mentioned the computer. Some family, yeah, and he's very poor, yeah. I'm the one, yeah, you know, through this lockdown, one day one of organization help my son, yeah. So as you know, he doesn't have computer and he's sitting, yeah. But you know, as he say, yeah, as aware, yeah, there some family is very poor, yeah. If for some organization, if they run this supplementary school, if they run in, you know, this supplementary school, yeah, some families they don't have, you know, even, you know, I mention something, yeah, you know, some of the family, the children wish you have it, or the young people wish you have it, they reduce. Why they reduce? Because they don't have, you know, this online, this is computer or devices to use, you know, the online. So how they can, you know, there is no library, there is no place, they don't have anything, yeah. And even they have mobile, they don't have, you know, the Wi-Fi or something like this, you to let them, you know, to run that second, yeah. So that's very important, yeah. So to support, you know, the poor, you know, family, they don't have, you know, this, you know, computer or laptop or yeah. As I say, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I confirm with you.
Cool. And then Rogers and Mohammed, we haven't heard from you yet, and we're going to be wrapping up. So is there anything you want to say, Rogers or Mohammed, or maybe you're not there? Or maybe they're not there. So, okay, cool. So we're going to leave the room and then we're going to feed back, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi guys, welcome back. Everyone should be back by now. So we're just going to feed back from what you guys discussed in your breakout rooms. So Susie, Remy, do you want to talk about what you guys were discussing in yours?
Susie, do you want me, since you actually led the group? Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of very good engagement, a lot of information shared. We have, for example, information around how children were difficult to engage. And I think it's from descendants at the beginning, because they spend a lot of time on on their computers, laptops during the school days, and then on weekends having to engage them for the out of school community activities wasn't very easy. So that's where they actually approached the parents who were the ones that actually made this possible. And that relationship with parents helped to continue with the activities. Also discussion with the community, asking the community about their needs, what is needed to actually make this work. Kamal said that digital poverty was one of the difficulties to begin with. And then similarly, Rana Development, Rogers said that the numbers that dropped down were huge to begin with and quite concerning. The digital poverty again was an issue around that. They had to raise funds. The funding that actually made it possible for the schools or the families who had issues with the funding around securing extra laptops for the children to deliver those laptops to the families in need. And that made it easier for them to continue with the activities. Security challenges as well. Sometimes there were cases when the Zoom was actually hacked. The other cases was making sure how to keep children safe online as well, which again, I think it was the parents mentioned there. Jasmine talked about, again, for this around digital poverty and the difficulties within the family when other children get involved and want to play on their laptops that are meant to be used for the activities or for the lessons. What went good? The good things were mentioned, such as having digitalized forms, digitalized stationery, made it a lot easier to actually get more registrations, and it's more practical, but then reaching out further away, so expanding more and creating or sort of working on their presence in the community. That was the positive side. If I've forgotten anything, Susie, please go ahead.
No, I think you summarized it well. I just want to say I have another meeting that I need to sort out, so I'm going to leave, but thank you all. It was really good to meet you. I'm just going to put my email before I leave on the chat, and feel free to contact me, but we'll be in touch. So thank you. Thanks, Anu.
Thank you. And just to quickly just summarize the group that what we were discussing. We said one of the the issues around lockdown was the use of technology, parents knowing the technology, teachers knowing the technology. So it's about having training for teachers, parents, people to efficiently be able to use the technology. One of the things that was mentioned that would be good when it comes to transitioning out of lockdown is having stuff around fitness, training, health and well-being, because a lot of people have been stuck inside, and also a helpline for advice for parents, because seeing a lot of issues with that. And then, yes, what was mentioned as issues was also around digital poverty, overcrowded families, and having resources for families. So one of the ways that they suggest that we can help as a network is providing resources for the supplementary schools around technology, but also the families who aren't able to access the technology, particularly if you guys are planning to continue doing online services as well after lockdown, and maybe having a mix of that. Also around training around the quality mark, training around management, good management of services. Yeah, and then like I mentioned before, giving resources to you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all your feedback on board, and if there's anything else you want to message me about in terms of how you think that we can support, please let us know, because we're going to be having a meeting like next week where we're going to be looking at the strategy of these network meetings, how we can use it as a support group for you guys, and what is the best way that we can support you guys as a foundation. Also, just to let you know, we want to have a name for this network meeting as well, because we're going to be meeting probably like 4 times a year or a bit more regularly, if you guys want. And so if you could email me, I'll just put my email, if any name suggestions as well of that you think would be good for this group. that would be much appreciated. I mean, does anyone have anything else they'd like to say before we kind of close this meeting?
Do you mind if I just repeat what I said earlier? Because in the previous network meetings with other schools, there was a lot of interest around mental health first aid training. As I said earlier, I wasn't very clear because I was actually doing something else in the same time. It was quite urgent in the same time. So I apologize. Basically, even though I am leaving at the moment NRSCE as a permanent staff, I'm aiming to remain in contact with them. And one of the things that is going to be published on their website soon will be a training on mental health first aid. So if you're interested, you could go through NRSCE website and book your place. The prices will be very reasonable in comparison to mental health first aid England, which is like 3-4 times more expensive. But I suggest that if you're interested to train your staff, the parents, the community, yourselves, the board, please follow up NRSCE for upcoming first aid in mental health.
Thank you, Remy. And Abdi, you have your hand up. Would you like to say something?
Yes. Sorry, I came late because there was a mix-up on the timing and things. So I work with Leaf Education as a youth coordinator. Basically, Fan told me, just to use feedback, and she was grateful. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was grateful for all your support and things like that. I think you were doing she was saying about the difference between the lockdown when the face-to-face delivery and the Zoom delivery. So she was saying sometimes the Zoom delivery is working better because the kids are with their parents and they're behaving better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the only feedback I got for you.
So you're saying that you think it's good in terms of transitioning from lockdown to kind of keep that digital as well as because of the kids being with their parents? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think as we all know, when kids are with their parents, they behave better.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them anyway, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, and I think that's a useful tool for us to kind of think about in terms of behavior management as well. Maybe maybe you could have a split class. But yeah, I think that's really great feedback. Thank you, Abdi. So yeah,
okay, no worries.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, I've left my email. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out to come today. And hopefully this has been helpful to you. And we're looking at, like I said before, seeing how these can be more useful to you going forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And all the best to all of you guys. This is my last day. Bye. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you. Thank
Bye.
You.
Bye, Kamal.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.